Gemini, it looks like something happened in your childhood that caused you to have I want to say a severe disadvantage. This could be growing up in a single parent household because we do have, the Ten of Cups coming out in reverse, okay? So it could be that. It could also be a death in the family, a death of a parent, something like that happened in your childhood. For some of you, it was abuse, so everybody is going through different things, right? The problem here is that it did cause a disadvantage. Now, you do have somebody around you who always thought that because of your disadvantage growing up and not having the proper education or not being able to get the resources that you needed, somebody around you just labeled you as the black sheep. Okay, like somebody just labeled you as a black sheep. You were never going to rise up. You were never going to be able to be established as an adult. You were never going to be able to run your own household. This person had this very odd way of labeling you. They had this way of labeling you and telling you to your face, like really rubbing it in. And it's not like this person came to you and said, well, because you came from a single parent home, all these terrible things are going to happen to you. You're going to have the disadvantage. No, they didn't say it in those ways, in that way. No, but they did let you know that they weren't expecting you to make it very far. In their own subtle, rude, obnoxious way. This person really affected your self esteem because of the way that they would speak to you. And then the way that they just automatically assumed that you weren't going to be able to grow up and learn how to, what? Run your own bank account. Like you weren't going to be able to learn to do certain things in your life. Now, this person could be a much older person, could be a relative, or it could be somebody that was around that for whatever reason just appeared to just want to pick on you and hold you down even more than the situation that was going on around you. Like, you already had a disadvantage. And then you had this other person who could be a step parent, a step parent who just felt like, how dare you outshine their own children or something like that. Now, this person is dangerous. This person is heartless. This is why they're dangerous. This person is dangerous because they are completely heartless. They have no soul. This person is completely empty inside. And I've heard that you have seen this person around. Maybe they have gone to parties. Maybe you have seen them at a family reunion. And, this person didn't really talk to you much. And it's giving you this impression that, this person is not interested in you, or they're just not keeping up with what's going on in your life. You might have this impression that this person is no longer like in your circle, within a circle. Like, your aunt, you see them at a party and then they don't talk to you, you don't talk to them. So you think they're not interested in your life. They don't know what's going on in your life. They don't care. Oh, let me tell you, they do care. Okay, you have this impression that this person is not watching you. They are watching you, and it's personal. It really is personal. And what's odd is that this person feels like you should not be able to be where you are in life. Like you should not be able to have your own home. You should not be able to, run your own bank account, right? For some of you, you might be disabled, okay? And this person is trying to, and this is for maybe a couple of you, this person is trying to be your payee, okay? They're trying to make it seem like you're worse off than you really are. So they can come in and be your payee, and then they can take over your account, okay? That's the vibe I'm getting from this person. For another one of you, you're not disabled, right? But this person is definitely keeping up with everything that you're doing in your life, and they don't like it. And they're trying to make it appear like you cannot function on your own. You shouldn't be able to. You are really shocking this person, regardless if you're disabled or not. You're really very much just shocking this person. They are like just so upset about this whole situation because you are showing strength that you should not be having, you know? It's like because of this disadvantage when you were a child, they know that you grew up with challenges and they thought it was funny. Instead of telling you, hey, when you get a car, make sure you're doing your oil changes. You know, make sure that you're getting that sticker on your car every year. You're getting that inspection done. No, no, no. See, they didn't tell you. You see, they knew that they should have told you. This is somebody who knew that they should tell you these things. That you should they should let you know these things. These are the kind of challenges I'm talking about. You see? And so, maybe you didn't change your oil in your car because nobody told you, so your cars would just break down. You see, the disadvantage that went from your childhood into your adulthood. For some of you, you simply just had a absentee parent. Okay? And for, that could be what I'm seeing here too. You just had an absentee parent who wasn't there to tell you the things that you needed to know. The important fundamentals of living a life on your own as an independent person. That person just couldn't be bothered to let you know what was going on. To let you know, hey, you need to do this, you need to make sure you do that. No, they didn't. And here you are, you're an adult now, and you're still, in a way, to tell you the truth, even though you're doing very well, even though you're handling your business, you're handling things very, very well, you still have that disadvantage because of the challenges that you've had to face because of this situation that happened, before you even hit puberty. That's what I'm hearing. It just really marked your life. And instead of this person being sympathetic, you see what I'm saying? Like, this person is heartless. Instead of being sympathetic, coming in, trying to help you, or at least give you some good advice, something. No, they're sitting on the side on the side, watching everything that you're doing. And before, back then, when you were, just starting out, this is somebody who was like laughing, thinking it was funny because you didn't know how to put, an oil, you didn't know you needed to get an oil change. Something like that. It doesn't have to be exactly, guys. Okay? But I'm using this as, an example. Making you buy car after car after car. And they thought it was hilarious. Things like that. Somebody here might have gotten a lot of tickets because nobody was there to teach you how to drive. These are challenges that carry on into your adulthood and the effects of it, because it was costly. It cost you money. So what happened was you had to work harder than everybody else. This is why you're so strong now. This is why you're unbreakable now. Because of everything that you've had to endure your whole life. Now you're so strong. And I'm hearing you're not just strong, but you are a very mature, loving person. And you know what? This person hates that because you're not supposed to be. You're supposed to be bitter. You're supposed to be angry with the world. You're supposed to be trying to cause problems everywhere, acting out. Like you see these videos where people are in the grocery stores, acting out, throwing things, causing arguments, causing chaos. That's how this person pictured you. That's how they were trying to groom you to be. They were trying to put ideas into your head. They wanted you to come up with excuses. They wanted to encourage you to come up with excuses. You know, come up with excuses why you couldn't achieve something. Come up with excuses why you couldn't have something. You couldn't do something. You couldn't do something because this person was deliberately withholding information from you while they were filling you with nonsense. Yes, you did have a disadvantage, but it wasn't the disadvantages of what this person was trying to make it seem. You see? So this person could have said, oh, well, you're a girl. You can't do this. You can't do that. You're a girl. You know, something like that. Right? The only disadvantage you had is the situation that put you in this situation in the first place. And it wasn't just that, but it was this person. What is wrong with them? You know? It's like they wanted to be bigger than life, or they wanted you to feel so small. So if you ever spoke about going to college, this person talked you out of it. If you ever wanted to be a police officer, they talked you out of it. You wanted to be a nurse, they talked you out of it. You see, they didn't want you to have an education. They didn't want you to understand how the world works. They wanted you to be a very dependent type of person. You know, either on them, people around you, or like the system, right? They wanted you to like get on food stamps and stay on food stamps for the rest of your life. Be a very dependent person. Not be able to grow up and learn to stand on your own. And man, this person, they see you. They act like they don't. You know, I know it. They act like they don't. They act like they could care less. They act like you're not even on their radar. You know, you walk in the room, they don't even look at you. But that can be no further than the truth. This person is watching you. Their eyes cannot get off of you. They can't. This is why when you are there and you're around and you are walking around them, they act like they don't see you. They act like, you know, the complete opposite. This person hates it that you're so strong. They would love it if you just go and, you know, be one of those kind of, you know, people that act crazy and, you know, they're praying that, you know, you'd end up on YouTube in somebody's video. You see? That's what they would love. Or that you would grow up to be a Karen. You know, knocking on people's doors or knocking on people's car windows and being like, hello, you need to move. You know, they would just love it for you to not understand social etiquette. You know, what is that word? Etiquette. You know, manners in society. They wanted you to be feral and wild and just acting amok, right? And you didn't. You didn't. You have reasons to celebrate. Reasons that other people might not understand why you have reasons to celebrate because, you know, they had somebody there to teach them, somebody there to guide them, to tell them, to help them become an adult, right? Celebrate these little things. That's the thing, Gemini. Celebrate the little things. Celebrate how far you've come. Pat yourself on the back. Because, wow, you have come through so much. Somebody here was a foster kid. I'm hearing somebody here was a foster kid. It really affected you. It has been something that has just been wearing you down. And even though, you know, you've been out of foster care for years, it's still affecting you. And look at you now. Look how well you're doing. Look how far you've come. And you didn't have people there, you know, many times that, you know, they didn't have your best interest. Everything was always self-serving, whether you were a foster child or not. Because for some of you, it definitely wasn't just one person. Okay? It was definitely not just one person. Could be 2, 3 people. Always self-serving. Making sure that they could profit off of you. either emotionally, spiritually, financially, but never investing in you as far as emotional support, maybe even financial support, or just giving you good advice. You should be so proud of yourself. Spirit wants you to know you should be so proud of yourself. From where you've come from and where you are now is a friggin' miracle. That you've even made it this far on your own, learning everything on your own. It's a miracle. And that person is watching you and they are so upset. Oh my gosh, they're so upset. They cannot stand it. They can't stand it. For somebody here, I'm hearing they dangled something in front of you. They dangled something that they knew that you wanted. You wanted it so bad, they knew it. Because who wouldn't want it? This could be wealth, this could be money, this could be a car, this could be something, it's something. Something that they knew that you wanted. They dangled it in front of you and they thought that you were going to take it. And you know what I'm hearing? I'm hearing you didn't. You ended up walking away. You distanced yourself from them instead. Oh my gosh, they did not see that coming. And this is something that could be recent or it could be something that happened a long time ago. But the thing is that when you did that, you showed your character. When you did that, that person realized you couldn't be manipulated. You weren't somebody that could just be manipulated the way that they manipulate other people. You weren't a puppet. This is why they can't stand you. Because they feel like everybody has a price. And they cannot figure out what is your price, Gemini. What is your price? Because they were trying to pull you down. Because for whatever reason, this could be an adult, since you were a child, but for whatever reason, they felt threatened by your presence. Your presence makes them see or feel even more empty and dark inside as they already are. But you made them feel worse about themselves. You see? This is why when you walked away, this person couldn't believe it. This is why they don't want to be around you right now because they don't feel very good around you because the darkness inside them becomes even darker compared to your light, compared to your strength. You see? And you were supposed to be the disadvantaged one. And look how far you've come. This person doesn't like it. See, this person had everything handed to them. This person has had the support, the love, everything that they've ever wanted. Everything has been given to them. Pretty much on a platter. I'm not saying they never had a job. I'm not saying that they've never worked in their life or anything. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that they've really have had it very, very easy. Okay, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying this person has had it so easy. They don't understand a struggle. Let's just put it that way, okay? They don't understand the struggle. They could be very educated. They walk in, they get the job, they walk out, no problems. They don't understand the struggle. When they don't have the money for something, they just go and ask their parent. That's it. It's done. It's over with. No stress. They don't understand the struggle. But you do. And because you do, that makes them angry. It makes them feel like, no, this is not right. And why? See, this is the thing. People like this, it doesn't have to make sense. Because it doesn't make sense. But a lot of times these people are so crazy, like this person, that their logic just doesn't make sense. And it doesn't. Most of the time it doesn't. You hear these people who are like this. Their reasoning doesn't make sense. And this person's reasoning doesn't make sense. This person is dangerous. They don't make no sense. They really do need to be evaluated. And what gets me is 9 times out of 9 something percent, right? People who are really, really sick in the head are the ones that can play it off so well and look so normal on the surface. You know, they just blend in with society so well. And that's this person. This is why they're dangerous. Because they are definitely some kind of chameleon. They might look the part, they act the part. When they get around religious people, they might act very religious. You know, it depends on who they're around. They'll just fit in because they have nothing inside of them, really. They're empty. And that's the truth. This person feels like you have a price, Gemini. They can't figure out your price. I that's what I'm getting. You should have a price. They can't figure out your price. You walk away. You don't beg. You don't like try to suck up to people. This person can't figure you out and it bothers them. You're doing very well for yourself. I'm hearing you got support or you might be getting paid. This could be something that you're doing online because we do have the world card. Maybe you're doing something online. Definitely doing something. And this person's like waiting for you to say something, but you haven't. Okay? You might be divorced yourself. Okay? And that may be confirmation for somebody. Maybe you've gone through several bad relationships, but you're still here. You're still standing. Still working on yourself. Still working on your spiritual self and still working on healing. You know, you've gone through many challenges in your life and maybe have made some very bad mistakes, made some very bad decisions because you didn't have the guidance that other people had. You know, you were disadvantaged or you stayed in relationships longer than you should have. People who were treating you poorly, you still stayed in those relationships hoping that, you know, you could build a family of your own or build some kind of solid relationship with that person, and it never happened. You know, somebody here was definitely abused as a child. I'm seeing you wanting to get a hug from somebody and that person pushing you away. You know, and it was a constant thing. You know, you just wanted a hug or some kind of comfort and they were just constantly pushing you away. That really does scar a person. But here you are working every day at healing, which is something that this person does not want you to do. This person is dangerous. They will try to pull you down. Okay? They will try to pull you down. Be careful because I see you. This person is like orbiting around you. They're not interacting with you, they're orbiting around you. It reminds me of a wolf when they're about to attack, they circle somebody. Okay? And I don't like that feeling. You know, because this person is not really letting you don't. You know, when a wolf does it, they let you see them. I mean, they know that you see them most of the time. Sometimes they do it in the woods, so it depends, right? But most of the time, wolves and coyotes, when they're circling you, you could see them in the woods. They'll make, you know, they'll do something. They'll make a noise. They'll do something, right? This person is not making any noise. They're not letting you know they're there. They're not letting you know what I'm saying? They're not letting you know at all that they are circling you. As a matter of fact, they're circling you so well that you don't even, you're standing there and they're not even looking at you. Nobody would ever believe you if you were to say this person is watching me, because they would be like, I didn't even see them look at you at the party, because they didn't. You know what I'm saying? People around would be like, no, that person didn't even interact with that, you know, with you. They didn't care. They didn't look. You know, of course they're going to do this, but they're watching you, especially if you have an online platform. They're watching you. This person's dangerous. It's personal with this person. You know, something's really wrong with them in their head. And I would say obsessed. They have become obsessed with your strength. The kind of person that you are. They have become obsessed because you do not act like other people. And they can't figure you out. What is your price? That's what I keep hearing. This person wants to know, what is your price? Okay, there's something weird about that. I don't like how it sounds, but that's what I'm getting. What is your price? So they're trying to figure out, like, how can they buy you? Like, how can they control you by giving you something that you want? This could be like some kind of gang. You know what I'm saying? The feeling I'm getting from this is like a gang person. Have you ever heard of these people in the gangs? They want to like pull you in. There's something here that's very much like that, or a cult or something. Or this person has people around them like that are cult minded, or this person is cult minded. Because if you think about the dynamics of a gang and a cult, I mean, not very much difference. You know what I'm saying? Other than one is based on religion and the other one's pretty much based on violence. I mean, they're so similar. You know what I'm saying? So this could be like somebody who's a gang member or a cult. You know, and don't think just because of their age or their sex that they're not involved in things. You'd be surprised. I saw an 80-year-old woman getting arrested on a video not very long ago, and I was so surprised. I would have never thought in a million years that that little lady that looked just so sweet as pie could be a meth dealer. I just like, what? She just didn't look the part. But I guess that's why she was able to get away with it so long, because she just really did not look the part. So whoever this person is, they're like that. They just don't look the part. They know how to dress a certain kind of way. You know what else this reminds me of? Oh, yeah. Y'all remember that show that came out? That show, Weeds. That's right, Weeds. That lady just did not look like she would be selling that to anybody. She just did not look the part that she would be some kind of dealer. But there she is doing it. And if you look at there's other shows like that. Well, that is definitely this person. This person is dangerous. They want something from you. They want to extract something from you. But at the same time, they want to pull you into some kind of group. And that's why I say this person is dangerous. Especially if you've ever had any kind of addictions in the past, especially if this person knows it, okay? Because I could see them coming in and trying to tempt you with it and be like, oh, yeah, I'll give you what you want, and pull you in so they can control you. Why do they want you so much? It's not just everything else that comes along with it, but it's because of your strength. It's like they feel like they can utilize your strength, how you're such a strong person. Like they can put you in situations that they can't put other people, but they can put you in those situations because you would know how to act. And it's crazy because this is the same person that wanted you to act out. But now that you don't run around, getting yourself into trouble or, bothering people or doing any of those things. It's like they want you even more. Because if you do that, then they'd be like, okay, you're fine. But now it's like they feel like they could utilize this part of you because you're not reactive. You see what I'm saying? Like they could put you in a situation and you will be able to keep your head because you are so strong. So be careful. This person is dangerous. They're going to try to hook you in, but they need to find out what your weakness is, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to find out what your weakness is. You might be getting a message either through another person or maybe even from them, but I feel like it's going to be from another person. This could be like something about work, or it could be something that has to deal with emotions. So it could be like, they're going to send you a letter saying, "Oh, I miss you. Haven't, heard from you. We should have lunch," or something like that, right? Or this could be like, "Are you looking for a job? I know this person. They're having an opening. I think you would be perfect." Something like that. It could be either or, okay? It depends on how this person, what they try first, okay? But they're definitely going to try to pull you in some way. Now, so keep your arms up. Keep your guard up with this person. Now, another thing is you might be working on something that you've been putting a lot of effort into. Spirit is saying right now is a good time to hit it. That's what I'm hearing. Hit it. Push yourself just a little bit harder. Go, go, go. Change things up if you have to. But whatever it is that you've been working on, hit it. Right now is the time. Things are lining up for you to move in that direction. Because even if you don't succeed, or even if you go through periods where, you might have some things don't work out as well as you were hoping for, that's fine, because it's like it's a learning lesson, and it's going to be something that you're going to need in the future. Okay? So, whatever it is that you've been working on, Spirit is saying, now's the time. Push yourself, change things up. If things are not working, change things up. Do what you got to do. But right now's the time to give it your all. That's what I'm hearing. All right, Gemini, I'm going to go ahead and get out of this reading. Let me go ahead and give you your angel numbers really quickly here. And let's go ahead and see what your angel numbers are. Spirit, give us a clear... there it is. One more for Gemini, Spirit. Let's see what your lucky numbers are for today. We're getting 000 is coming in. It says, I am a creator. Okay, and I'm hearing right now is the time to create. Create. So if you are a creator, right now is the time to create and to push yourself, according to what I'm seeing here. Push yourself. Okay, it says you are one with the creator, and there are no limits to what you can achieve. You have the ability to create something new and incredible in your lifetime here on earth. I am a creator. So do put that in the comment section, guys. You have angel number 1, which is very surprising because it says I am innovative, which is like perfect for this. It says you are a self-starter. I'm telling you, a person who's a self-starter is a very strong person. It says with very innovative ways of creating opportunity. Your determination and endurance are powerful and will help you get through rough times and reach success. See, I'm telling you, you got it. You got it, Gemini. Catch me in the next one, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Y'all take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.